Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to my latest video, and as you can see from the video title, it's going to be my thoughts on this year's AEW Double or Nothing. It's been a while since I've done a pay-per-view review, to be fair. It's been that long, I can't remember which pay-per-view I last reviewed, and it has been a while since I watched a sort of live pay-per-view. I've watched some others recently, but nothing that's like happened recently, if you know what I mean. The ones that have happened a while ago. So I've been watching a few episodes of Dynamite recently, so I figured, what the hell, I'll give all Double or Nothing a watch. So I'm going to go through it match by match as the matches went, and give my thoughts on it. These are literally my thoughts on how I felt the match was and what have you. So that being said, let's see what Double or Nothing had in store. So the first match was the casino ladder match, which basically has a massive casino chip hanging above the ring. Climb up the ladder, grab it, you get an AEW title shot. Now I'm used to the sort of traditional ladder match where everybody's in the ring to begin with and then all hell breaks loose. I thought the concept of this one, where it starts off with two people and then after 2 minutes somebody else comes in. I mean, realistically, person one decks person two, or vice versa, climbs ladder, grabs thing, match over. But I mean, obviously that would make for a crap match. So, but I still can't get my head around why AEW do it that way. The mystery entrant came out last, and it was Brian Cage. I think that's the first time I've actually seen him live on a wrestling event, and holy shit, that guy's huge. Came out with Taz, and like the commentators on about Taz, aligning himself with Brian Cage, being a big, good move and everything. It'd be interesting to see where that goes. The match itself was really good. There were plenty of spots with the ladders, plenty of spots without the ladders. My only sort of critique, as it would be, were some of the comedy moments, like Orange Cassidy being too lazy and not knowing how to put a ladder up and stuff like that. Marco's stunt and the mini ladder and what have you. Just given the fact that it were for an opportunity at a world title shot, I would have thought that they would just had it as a serious ladder match, like dare I say, Money in the Bank is. But apart from this year's, obviously, which was completely different, and I'm honestly glad I didn't watch. But yeah, that's probably my only sort of critique about it. But I mean, they didn't really ruin the match for me. They just kind of took a bit of a shine off it. Cage winning the chip on his debut seemed a bit off to me. There's guys who've been there since it started, who've signed exclusively with AEW and busted ass, and they've been turning up while this whole COVID-19 thing's going on, and then he just walks in on his debut and wins. It was a bit like when Brock Lesnar won the Money in the Bank. Everybody else had been busting their ass in the ring, and then he just walked in and grabbed a briefcase. I mean, obviously they've got a plan for Brian Cage. Hopefully they've got a plan for him, but it was a good opening match, and I'm going to rank it a 3 out of 5. Yeah, 3 out of 5 I think is probably a fair score for that one. MJF versus Jungle Boy. Now, I like MJF. I know a lot of people don't, but that's because of how good of a heel he is. He makes people genuinely hate him, and I have got a real appreciation for that at the moment. I've been watching a lot of CZW stuff from like 2018 when he was in it, and he was the Wired champion, then became the world champion. And the way he was in there, it's just, he hasn't changed his gimmick much. He's still, that arrogant little prick, but he does it so well. The match itself was really good. Both guys pulled off some amazing wrestling moves, some counters. There were high spots. It was absolutely amazing, and MJF getting the win fair and square too. There were no need for any sort of low blows or anything like that. He genuinely, pinned Jungle Boy. Really enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed this match. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5, and that's how much I enjoyed it. I thought it was absolutely great match. Next up was the TNT Championship, Cody versus Lance Archer. I'm not going to mention anything about the belt. The entire internet has just been on fire since the minute the belt was shown on TV. Obviously, it became apparent during the match that the belt itself isn't finished. I am fortunate enough to say that I have been friends with the guy who made the belt on Facebook for years when he sort of first started getting into re-leathering, and now he's doing belts for, AEW. He did the tag team belts, and now he's done the TNT. When it's finished, I think it was going to look a hell of a lot better than it did on the night itself, Saturday night. It looked rough, but they sort of needed that physical belt there to award Cody. But once that belt's finished, I think it's going to look totally different. I think it will be a nice belt. The match itself was quite good. It seemed to drag on a bit, just my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it was good. There were some nice spots in it. Nothing too gimmicky, but it just seemed a bit like they built Archer up as this absolute monster, and then Cody just knocks him down, and beats him. I mean, it took a couple of his finishes, it took a couple of crossroads and stuff, but the way they built Archer up, I was convinced that Archer was going to win it. But, Cody won it. He's the first TNT champion, so, congratulations to Cody Rhodes. I'm going to give this match a 3 out of 5. Penelope Ford versus Chris Statlander was next. Penelope Ford was filling in for the injured Adam Cole's girlfriend, Britt Baker. This weren't a bad match, it won, but to me personally, there was never any doubt that Chris Statlander was going to win. And there were only a handful of times that Penelope Ford got some real major offence in, but Statlander never looked in any real danger, in my opinion. I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5, but like a high 2.5, if that makes any sense. Then we had Shawn Spears versus Dustin Rhodes. There was the whole, well, is Dustin here? Nobody's seen him. Is he going to turn up? Shawn Spears came out, did a bit of mic work. Then Dustin Rhodes' music hit. And then Spears did the whole, and then he just turned around, looked in the camera, he's not here, I had this done, blah, blah, blah. And then the music hit again, and he was like, no, only once. Then Brandy came out, and while Spears was sort of distracted by her, Dustin Rhodes came in. Dustin, they had a bit of back and forth. Dustin won, but I think if this had been done as a proper match rather than how they did execute it, it would have been better, and I probably would have enjoyed it more. But I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. It was just the way they did it. Shawn Spears come out in his suit and then ended up leaving in his boxer shorts. It just, if they'd have had it as a proper match, I probably would have rated it higher, and it probably would have been better. Next up, the AEW Women's Championship was on the line as Hikaru Shida challenged Nyla Rose. Now, I have my own opinions on Rose. The biggest one is that she reminds me of Nia Jax, in that she's an absolute fucking liability from what I've heard. People getting injured left, right and centre when they've been wrestling her. So this was a no DQ match, which made it a bit of an interesting stipulation. And the bigger of the two women came out with a kendo stick. To me, that made no sense. You would have thought, I mean, alright, it might have been classed as racial stereotyping if the Japanese woman would have come out with a kendo stick, but you could have looked at it as an equaliser for the size difference. But no, the Native American came out with a kendo stick, or Singapore cane, or whatever you want to call it. It were an interesting match. I'll be honest, I was really glad that she'd won. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Not much more I'm going to say on that, because I don't really want to go into my feelings about Nyla Rose. It's nothing, I know what people are going to say. They're going to assume that it's because of certain things, but it's not. I just see her as an absolute liability, and just don't think she's that good. She does remind me of Nia Jax a lot, in that she's just strong. She just throws people around, and that's all she's got going. Next up was Mr. Brody Lee versus John Moxley for the AEW World Title match. I am a John Moxley fan, have been since his CZW days, was a Dean Ambrose fan, as anybody who's been watching my channel for a while will know. And so now he's gone back to Mox, and he's in AEW World Champion, sorry. I was well chuffed when I found out he'd beat Jericho for it. So this match itself was a brawl, and I expected absolutely nothing less. Both guys beat the shit out of each other. The one big surprise about this was how Mox retained the title, and that was by submission. I was expecting 2, 3, 4, finishes with a I can never say it properly. Paradigm shift. I can't remember. I can never pronounce it properly. But yeah, Dirty Deeds as we would have known it back in the day. But yeah, I really enjoyed this match. Even though they spent a lot of the time outside brawling around and not so much time in the ring, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5 as well. Purely because there were times when you thought that Mox's title reign was in jeopardy, but he kept getting up and doing what he does, and it all worked out quite well for him in the end. He retained, like I said. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 4. So these are my own personal thoughts, reviews, ratings, whatever you want to call them. And people out there will be like, oh no, it weren't that, blah blah blah. But these are just what I feel. Now, next up, the last match was the Inner Circle versus the Elite with Matt Hardy in a Stadium Stampede match. Now, this was ridiculous. It was an absolute spot-filled gimmick match, and I really enjoyed it. It was as far from a wrestling match as you could get. It was just daft. After everything else that happened that night, you'd had some decent wrestling matches, you just had the world title match. This was just one of those, like, I literally just sat back and just thought, wow, this is absolutely fucking stupid, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. There were so many comedy spots in it. Hangman turning up on a horse, chasing Sammy Guevara, looking for him inside the arena, then finding the bar, telling his horse to stay, going towards the bar, and then a bit later on you see Jake Hagar looking for him, sees the horse, spots the sign for the bar. That's where Hangman's going to be, goes in, sure enough, Hangman sat drinking whiskey. Then they started brawling. Then there was where Santana and Ortiz had got Matt Hardy up on this swimming pool area in a balcony, and they kept dipping him, and every time he came out he was like morphing into a different version. He went from the broken Matt Hardy to sort of attitude when he came in with Jeff, the cargo pants. He went from having no shirt and the broken Matt Hardy pants on to having the tight black shirt and the cargo pants on, and he was underwater and the camera was on him, and he was giving the old Hardy Boy sign, and then next thing you know he pops out and it's Matt Hardy V1, and then he gets dunked again and he's doing the V1 sign underwater and everything. It was just really comical. That was probably my favourite comedy spot of the entire thing. Then you had one of the Young Bucks, I can't remember which one it was, I think it was Matt, who was just doing like a suplex on Sammy Guevara, and he just did it from one end of the pitch to the other, and then spiked his head, started dancing, the ref threw a flag at him for dancing. I don't follow American football, but I am familiar with the fact that that is a rule. You can get done for too much celebrating and shit like that. But yeah, I mean, it were absolutely ridiculous. The whole thing was just stupid, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just so light-hearted. It was just kind of a good way to end the show. You've had all these like serious things like the Brody and Moxley and the TNT title match and a couple of other things, and it's given what's going on around the world at the moment, we just need something to just sit back and have a really good laugh at, and I think that's what AEW tried to do with this. It was like, right, do you know what, we're just going to end the show on something so absolutely fucking stupid and give everybody a laugh, and that's what they did. More power to them. I know certain people are going to piss all over it. The wrestling purists are going to absolutely hate everything about it, but I thought, given the current climate, it was just a good way to end off the show. For what it was, it was really good. So overall, I think I'd give Double or Nothing an overall score of about 3.5 out of 5. The Sean Spears Dustin Rhodes match and the Penelope Ford Chris Statlander match has let it down for me. Like I said, Spears and Rhodes could have been done so much better. Statlander and Ford, there must have been somebody else, another heel that they could have found to face Statlander who could have, given more of a challenge. And you might have thought, oh, is she going to beat Statlander? Because, like I said, Penelope Ford, no disrespect to her, but she never really seemed like a legit threat, and that's what you want in a match. You don't want it so blatant. I mean, I thought the women's title match was going to go that way, but it didn't. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, these are my own personal, rankings out of 5. You can watch any other review channel who does these sort of things. There's a million and one of others on YouTube doing reviews and stuff and what have you. But the pure hardcore wrestling purists will probably rate it lower or give the matches lower markings than me. But these are just my opinions. Like I said, this is how I sat. Literally just sat down, cup of tea, watched it, paused it, made a brew in between matches, carried on, made a couple of notes and stuff because, as I've explained before, my memory's crap. But yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. I stand by my 3.5 out of 5. Like I say, add the Spears and Dustin matches and Chris Statlander had a more legitimate opponent, it could have been higher. But yeah, I enjoyed the pay-per-view. I don't regret 1 minute of watching it. Unlike WrestleMania, I only watched night 1. I couldn't bring myself to watch night 2 because I had every intention of doing a review of it and I just couldn't bring myself to it. I'm sorry, but it just weren't happening. So yeah, that is my thoughts on AEW Double or Nothing 2020. It's only a short video, I don't want to drone on. Like I said, I just wanted to just throw up a quick review. I've literally just finished watching it, come upstairs straight away and filmed it like I used to do back in the day when I was a bit more on the ball on YouTube. You may have noticed a few of my videos recently have been sort of ones that I put together of championship histories, wrestlers, championship histories and stuff like that. It's just something I wanted to do that's a little bit different. My friend Josh on OWO's done similar sort of things with wrestlers, and I figured I could do a few of them with wrestlers that I like. So there's a couple up already. There's some more that are done, ready to go up. So I hope you're liking those. I will have my Blu-ray pickup video soon. I've just got another 1 or 2 to arrive. Hopefully by the end of the month, and then I'll be able to do that one. I have got some wrestling merchandise that has arrived, so keep your eyes peeled. I'll be doing a quick video about that probably. So yeah, until those guys, thank you for watching. As always, I say it and I always mean it, thank you for taking the time to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please feel free. I'm chasing to get to 200. I'd like to get to 200 subscribers and then see how I get from there. Congratulations to my friend Y, who's just hit 200 subscribers. It's long overdue, mate. You do some great stuff, so if you haven't seen it, go check out Y's Stories. It's spelled WAIS and then just stories. He does all sorts of stuff. He's like met the Young Bucks, met Kenny Omega and all sorts. He has some really, really cool stuff on his channel. So yeah, go check him out. Congratulations to him. Like I say, I am chasing that magic 200 now. Hopefully I'll get there. So yeah, that'll do it, guys. Please stay safe. I know over here in the UK they've relaxed the social distancing, but use a bit of common sense. The quicker we all use common sense and try and keep us distance a bit, the quicker we'll see this thing out. So yeah, for everybody out there all over the world, no matter where you're watching from, please stay safe, and I hope you're all well, and I hope all your families are well. Until my next video, I'll leave it here, and I'll see you next time, guys. Bye for now.